Tonight on the Marion Star Live, we'll tell you why a building was torn down just less than a block away from Marion's Tower Square.
And we'll show you some murals that will soon be completed in downtown Marion and introduce you to an artist who painted one on the other side of town.
And we'll turn back time to a disaster that occurred when Mayor Bob Butler was first sworn into office.
And we'll share with you some more stories tonight. All that and more on this episode of the Marion Star Live.
Now live from Swinford Media Group. The Marion Star, where Marion is the star.
Good evening, it's Friday, and that means it's time for another edition of the Marion Star Live. I'm Rachel Stroud.
And I'm Riley Swinford. We're coming to you live tonight from in front of our office on Marion's Tower Square. Not far from here, one of the about a dozen murals that will be painted during the next year is currently underway.
Now, the mural that's currently in progress will look a little bit like this. The colors on this Beatles tribute will be a little bit different, but this photo was taken as the mural artists were projecting the image onto the wall to stencil it a few days ago.
And here's a mocked-up image of what another planned mural will look like. Sean Vincelette will join Josh Benson and Luke O'Neill in this ambitious project on the west side of the Citadel building downtown. The image is of the Freedom Statue, which rests atop the U.S. Capitol building.
Sean, Josh, and Luke teamed up on this mural near the Civic Center, remembering some stories of Marion's past. This was painted last year, along with this other mural.
Yes, this one on the side of the Biassee Music Building, a short distance from here, features jazz greats Duke Ellington and Louis Armstrong.
Now, on the other side of town, this very creative mural was recently painted. The Renew store is a thrift shop run by the Cornerstone Church in the former Walmart building west of Interstate 57. Renew store management asked artist Nick Allen to help the ministry join the mural effort, and he painted a mural representing his faith with Marion's clock tower also included.
So when I came up with the concept, I kind of wanted to keep it like with a Christian, because I'm a Christian at the same time too, so I kind of wanted to give back, to the person I feel like that gave me my gift in the first place. So I wanted to dedicate a wall to Christ and use like my style and colors and unique. This is like my first big mural on this like size of a scale, really. So like Holly reached out to me and I told her I'd definitely be interested in working with it, and then I drew up a concept, and actually when I did the actual piece, I only had drew probably from like Christ down here on, and I didn't realize how much more wall I had to do, so then I had to come up with some more concepts and actually to fill out the rest of it. But honestly, we met up, she brought me in, she gave me a tour of the church and everything, and she was super nice about it. And from there on, I came up with the concepts, shot it over to her, she loved it, and then she said, whenever you want to start, we can go for it. So I learned a lot about myself and like my skill set when I actually made this piece.
Nick is a Marion native, and he said that he submitted some proposals for designs on of the other murals that will be going up on prominent buildings in downtown Marion. Decisions will be made on what those designs will be, and we hope to bring you news of the winning designs in the near future.
Now, while these murals are going up, a building on the west side of Tower Square Plaza is going down. On February 27th, we talked to local business leader and developer Steve Fowler. He shared with us some exciting news. A popular regional restaurant currently located in Benton is coming to Marion. After the building formerly known as the F.W. Woolworth's building and most recently known as Verdi Law Firm is restored, Seasonings Bistro is moving in. This past week, another change was made to improve the space. The former Banner Finance building, which sat directly behind the building under renovation on West Main Street facing the north, was demolished to make room for an outdoor beer garden and dining space for Seasoning Bistro customers. Saving the future home of Seasoning Bistro will take a lot of work, but all parties involved are ready for the challenge and excited to have the opportunity to bring such a well-loved restaurant to Marion. As always, keep an eye on our Facebook page as well as the Marion Star newspaper. As progress is made in the renovation process, we will keep you updated.
There's even more happening in Marion, and we'll tell you about that after this break, along with a turning back time story about a downtown tragedy that happened the night that longtime Marion Mayor Bob Butler was first sworn into office. Stay with us.
When you're shopping for a new or used vehicle at Watermark, you'll notice the Warranty Forever sticker on the windshield. Here's what that actually means. The powertrain on the vehicle is covered for unlimited mileage and unlimited time. That's the engine and transmission. There's no cost to you. It covers 100% parts and 100% labor. That means when you purchase a vehicle from Watermark, you have coverage for as long as you own the vehicle. So when you think of Watermark, think of Warranty Forever and true peace of mind.
The sooner we're able to see a patient after an injury, the better the outcome. What direct access means is that you can seek services for physical therapy without an order from a physician. So you can either call the clinic directly or come into the clinic and schedule an appointment to see one of our physical therapists. We can often avoid either medication use or unnecessary imaging, but we will do a thorough evaluation, and if we find a reason to referral to a specialist or to their primary care provider, we will do so.
Swinford Media and the Marion Star appreciate the support of the Arcadia Wealth Group, which is sponsoring Wildcat Wednesdays and our Turning Back Time segments. Following his first election to the office of Mayor of Marion in mid-April 1963, Bob Butler had told a reporter that his first priorities were the city's finances and a number of water issues. One water problem certainly would dampen his first day in office. Bob and his new council were to be sworn in at 7:30 p.m. on Monday, May 6, 1963. Thousands thronged the public square that evening, according to a report in the Southern Illinoisan, but they weren't there to watch an inauguration. Long before you could get a pizza pie in this building on the northeast corner of the square, it housed City Hall. In this building, a swearing-in ceremony took place during an abbreviated meeting. The meeting was shortened by the awareness that a full other side of the square was on fire. While the new mayor and commissioners sweated out their oaths of office in suits and ties, they could look out City Hall's windows and see that a growing crowd of bystanders were watching a growing blaze. The Southern Illinoisan described the evening as balmy and 70 degrees with a heat index made a tad warmer by a fire that was incinerating most of the southern side of the square. After rushing out to join onlookers, outgoing police and fire commissioner Robert Urick quipped that he was leaving office in a blaze, but not glory. Faulty wiring, weak water pressure, and an undermanned fire department soon led to the destruction of 3 buildings that night. 14 other fire departments sent crews to assist, and a married couple from Mount Vernon drove down to catch a view of their city's new high-rise snorkel truck in action. However, Marion Fire Chief James Dungy said firefighters were hampered in their battle by an insufficient amount of water. Although 8 pumper trucks responded to the scene, only 5 could be used, and only 2 pumpers were actually connected to hydrants on the square. The other 3 had to connect elsewhere. Dungy later would call that 8-inch water line woefully inadequate. The fire had begun in the basement of the Goss Home Furnishing Store, located on the eastern corner of the intersection of the square between East Main and South Market Streets. Now, 60 years later, business owner John Goss could state the exact time he detected a problem.
I can tell you when it happened, 5, May 6, 1963. That's when it happened, exactly at the time. Because I thought I smelled a little smoke, and it was too flooded in the basement. And I stuck my head in the basement, I could see the smoke coming down that ceiling. And I ran out the door to one of the people in the shoe store. I said, "You need to get out. There's a fire underneath it." They went under their building. And by the time I got back, it was engulfed in flames. It was just a tinderbox waiting to go.
The night of the fire, Goss watched volunteers help retrieve some of his stock in an adjacent warehouse that later burned. He was quoted as saying in the paper, "If I have anything left, I owe them a steak." He added that one little guy was carrying a 350-pound air conditioner that was bigger than he was. The Goss business lost $75,000 to $100,000 in stock and supplies that night, including the day's receipts. His landlord, the General Shoe Company in Nashville, Tennessee, lost his building and the shoe store, Kay's shop, next door. 5 other businesses and 3 apartments were destroyed in what was the worst fire in Marion's history, with damage estimates at $1.5 million, which would be equivalent to more than $13 million in today's dollars. Other damage caused by the May 6, 1963 fire included the destruction of Cox Hardware and Furniture, located east of the shoe store on the square, Farley's Barbershop, Southside Tavern, Lampley Electronics, and Bearings Service Company, all located just south of the square and behind the Goss, Kay's, and Cox buildings. One apartment above the Goss store and 2 others above the tavern were also destroyed. The tavern's owner, Sam Barbero, lived in one of his 2 apartments and suffered a heart attack in the midst of the commotion. In addition to turning Bob's swearing-in ceremony into an afterthought, the fire affected the Butler family in other ways. The Butler family owned the Marion Insurance Building across East College Street, just south of the Inferno. A wall from a building across the street fell and knocked in the Butler Building's north side. Bob's law office was located there, along with his brother Bill's insurance business and his father's news agency, which circulated the Marion Daily and other papers. Just a week earlier, a storm had leveled a house that Bill Butler had under construction. Now his insurance office was caved in. Nevertheless, by midweek, Bill displayed the Butler stubbornness and advertised in the daily paper that the Marion Insurance Agency and Butler News Agency are both open for business in the same location. The wall at the Butler building was soon repaired, and the building survived and remains in the Butler family today. The fire finally was extinguished at 10 p.m. that Monday night. Needless to say, the new mayor had the smell of smoke on his clothes and plenty on his mind. The downtown had suffered the 3rd fire of great magnitude in recent years. In fact, Homer Butler had been the city's fire and police commissioner when a previous blaze burned down the east side of the square in 1941. The stately Goodall Hotel went down in that fire, and in its place came a building that housed the W.T. Grant department store and, later, a new location for Marion City Hall. The new mayor, Bob Butler, and some city officials were soon flying to Washington, D.C. to check on an application for a grant to upgrade the city's water system. After the visit, and with the help of Congressman Ken Gray, a $544,000 Public Works Acceleration Act grant was almost instantly approved, and the city went to work building a raw water pumping station and installing a 500,000-gallon water tower and 21 new and bigger water lines. A year later, another fire would damage the buildings that the Swinford Media Group now occupied, then the Walkers and Klein & Vick stores. Thanks to a better water supply for the fire department, those buildings survived, and we are grateful for that. At Swinford Publications, we are working with the Butler family on a book, and the script for this video was actually drawn from Chapter 3. Watch for more on that future book release. Thanks to Sam Latuka and his Marion, Illinois Historic Preservation website for some of the background information and photos used, and to the Arcadia Wealth Group for underwriting all our Turning Back Time segments. For the Marion Star Live, I'm Bill Swinford.
Thanks, Bill. Now, Aaron Price has more about a bicycle club that's becoming active in Marion. City leaders are working on making changes to make our roads more safe for bicycle activists.
Yeah, that's right. Local bicyclists will soon have more options to ride safely over the next year. According to the City of Marion, they're working to develop a new biking plan to assist riders with throughout the city. Meanwhile, a new Marion Cycling Club will also be taking their first ride next week. Hank Daters, creator of the cycling club, says he is excited to meet new people passionate for the sport.
You know, I used to go to college in Carbondale back in the 90s, and there was a very robust cycling group there. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evening, we'd meet up by the bike shop, and there'd be 20, 30 people meet up. And we had enough people to break into 3 different ability groups, an A, B, and C group. And that was all the way through my years in Carbondale. And over the years, that group fizzled. I don't know if they still have something like that, but when I moved back to the area in 2007 here in Marion, there was no groups like that I could find. There's lots of small pockets of bikers here and there, little twosies and threesies, lots of individuals out there biking, but no central organizing place for people to come together, for new bikers to learn how to bike with the group. So that's why I wanted to start this, so we can start bringing some new cyclists into the fold, the people that are interested in cycling but are afraid of really going out and doing the longer distance stuff. So I want to make a safe place for people coming into the sport to grow and learn to love the sport like I do.
There is no cost to join the club. More information can be obtained by visiting the Facebook page, Marion, Illinois Cycling Club. For now, reporting for the Marion Star Live, I'm Aaron Price.
On Tuesday, the election for 3 open seats on the Johnny Logan College Board of Trustees was settled, with Dr. Brent Clark joining the board. Incumbents Glenn Pichard and Jacob Jake Rindelman will both return to the board with Dr. Clark. The newly elected trustee is the executive director of the Illinois Association of School Administrators and an adjunct professor at SIU. Dr. Clark was formerly a teacher, principal, and superintendent in the Thompsonville, Benton, and Belleville school districts.
On Thursday, former state senator Paul Schimpf, a Republican candidate for Illinois governor from Waterloo, stopped in Marion for a meet and greet at the Crown Brew Coffee Company.
Well, today I had the opportunity to talk with the Rotary Club in Marion and give a non-political address to them. And I always enjoy talking with Rotary Clubs, and I talked with them just about what I think the average person of Illinois should know about its government but doesn't. Right now, the thing that is holding Illinois back is its dysfunctional government and the lack of leadership out of the governor's mansion. Illinois has a leadership deficit with Governor Pritzker as our chief executive. We need a governor who can unite our state instead of divide our state. We need somebody that can work across the aisle to provide solutions. I have the background and track record that I can do that. I'm the person that can bring Illinois together.
We'll be back with one more story right after this. Stay with us.
At Farmers State Bank, we prioritize not only
our customers, but the communities that we live in.
We value your unwavering trust
and loyalty in being your bank.
Supporting and serving local businesses, familiar faces, friends and family.
Each and every day is a large portion of our job.
Farmers State Bank stands community strong.
As your community bank, we're committed to bringing you
support, success,
and strength during this time.
Because we are
and always will be
here for you.
At Farmers State Bank, no one
serves you better.
At Farmers State Bank, no one serves you better.
May God bless you.
May God bless all of you.
On Sunday, the local faithful celebrated Easter, and for many of them, it was their first time being back in a church building for a gathering in quite a while.
Zion United Church of Christ started the day with an uplifting sunrise service on the church lawn. You'll remember that a year ago, that church's pastor, John Holst, sadly rang his church bell on Easter morning, knowing that he wouldn't be able to share the day with his parish. It was just the start of the pandemic and mitigations that led to virtual services for much of the year. Holst told us he was overjoyed that Zion is again having in-person services as restrictions are starting to diminish.
And on Easter Sunday, that gave them one more thing to celebrate. Now, if you liked this show, be sure you leave us a comment, click that like button, and share this live cast. If you have a friend or family member who you think might be interested in something that we talked about tonight, tag them in the comments below. We love hearing from you, and you really help us reach a larger audience, and for that, we're very thankful.
Now, this Friday night, we do not have a Wildcat game day to bring to you tonight, as the Wildcats are on the road to face a struggling Belleville-Altoff team. You can find a link on how to watch that game through the Marion High School Athletics Facebook page, and also next week they'll be playing at Centralia, so we won't be able to broadcast that game either. But we'll be back in a couple weeks when the football team returns home to Wildcat Stadium to wrap up their season with a game against the Carbondale Terriers. Now, as always, for full coverage of these games and Wildcat football, volleyball, soccer, all Wildcat athletics, be sure to pick up an edition of the Marion Star. We'll keep you updated there until we can return to another game day broadcast. And for our Lions and Tigers fans out there, you can read the Carville Courier or Heron Independent.
Well, that'll about do it for us for tonight. For Aaron Price, Russ Swinford, Bill Swinford, and Riley Swinford, I'm Rachel Stroud. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great weekend. Good night.
The proceeding has been a production of the Marion Star Live. The material may not be reproduced, distributed, transmitted, or otherwise used without the prior written consent of Swinford Publications, LLC.